ziweke hapa karibu na yeye. Yeye ndiye mwenye maneno. Basi hata mwenye maneno. Weka hapa. Basi hiyo kitu moja iongeze because of you. Iongeze kitu moja. Iongeze kitu moja.
I need one more seat. I need a seat for the director of the facility.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is he? Monday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and welcome to the, I would like to call it the first press conference, hopefully of many, as we keep you abreast with what's happening towards the build-up of this event. Of course, this being our first day, we had the ceremonial start this afternoon, and it was an amazing experience. We had a shakedown, we had a tree planting experience where we were led by CS Dr. Ambassador Amina Mohammed, who led us through that process. So right now we are here, and we are glad that they found time to join us, and I'd like to acknowledge all their presence, and I'll just go in this order. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Acting Director and CEO of our host, that is the Kenya Wildlife Service Training Institute, that is Dr. Patrick Omondi. Asanteni sana. And it's an amazing experience here, and I'm sure a lot of us can attest to that with the amazing courtesy that you've given us to host this event here. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of our chairman, Kenya Motorsports Federation, who is also the Chief Executive, WRC Safari Rally Limited, that is Phineas Kimathi. Karibu sana, Phineas. And again, good to have you with us through this journey. We also have the Cabinet, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Sports Development. We have Joe Okudo, who has also been part of this amazing journey. We also have Honorable Zach Kinodia, who is the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, Karibu sana. We have Honorable Simon Kachapin, who is also the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage. We also have with us here Josephat Mukobe, who is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Culture and Heritage. I don't think I've missed anybody else. And our distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you and say a big hi to our fourth estate. These are the men and women who have, for the last couple of months, if not years, have been working around the clock informing the world what is happening. And I can bravely tell you right now, we are seated in one of the most advanced media centers ever seen in a sport competition as big as the EQUATOR rally as we're celebrating here today. So I'd like us to just give a big warm welcome, of course, to our dignitaries, and also, of course, to our fourth estate. I think they are also clapping for you. So, of course, this being a press conference, I'd like to welcome a man who is not a stranger to us, Elias Makori, who will guide us in the press conference after that. And, of course, there will be a Q&A session, but I'm sure there will be some words and remarks coming from our distinguished guests who are here with us this evening. Karibu, Makori.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you very much, Honorable CS, Honorable Kas, Mr. Tinotia, Mr. Kajapin, our CEO, CS Joe Kudo, CS Josepha, and indeed all the guests. Welcome. This is our NAP center, like you've seen. It's still work in progress because it's a build-up to the Safari, WRC Safari Rally. But I must say, my colleagues who've been here, Michael Kinyi, Chris Baisi, Peter Njenga, who've been covering global competitions, will agree that it's not too bad. Out of 10, I don't know, maybe around 7.5?
Let's say 8.
Okay.
Let's just put it at 8.
All right, thanks. So I think perhaps we'll start with the remarks from the guests, Eddie, and then after that we'll take questions and answers. And after the Q&A session, after the guests leave, I please request media to remain behind because there are some housekeeping issues we need to address. So Eddie, perhaps you can lead the remarks.
All right, fantastic. I'd like to welcome, of course, our chairman, a man who is not a stranger to us. He has led, I don't know where he gets his energy. And I've been meaning to ask you this question, but one day we'll sit down and have tea over this. And that is the chairman, Kenya Motorsports Federation, and also the CEO, WRC Safari Rally. Please, a round of applause for Phineas Kimathi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I want to acknowledge everybody with me, led by our very bold Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Amina Mohammed. This is a very strong team from government, and without our government, there is nothing that Phineas Kimathi and team could have delivered. So I think that's line number one. Line number two is to acknowledge the support that I've received over the years since I began this journey. I do recall when I came back from Turin, Italy, having taken over as the chairman of Kenya Motorsports Federation, holding a press conference at the Hilton Hotel. And Abdul Sidi is here. When I said that my priority is to bring back WRC, everybody thought that I had earned myself a title for life, a big joker. But I followed through that dream, and I met great people who supported me, and they continue supporting me. Lately, we were joined by Mr. Joe Akundo as the PS in the ministry. At that time, I was not so sure whether I wanted to continue or not, but he encouraged me and, helped me through the journey to where we are today. I would say that the entire ministry has really supported me. I have little to complain about, and in terms of getting things done, I am sure you can see we are living the dream, and whatever we get, whatever resources we get, we are able to account for it and put it into best use to deliver a world-class event. Yes, Safari is coming back after 19 years, and the most interesting thing is it's not just coming back to Kenya, it is coming back to Africa after 19 years. Kenyans need to begin to be proud of their country and to be proud of what this country can deliver, because we are leaders in very many areas, one of them being motorsports. For 3 years, without 2020, Kenya had the best national championship in the continent of Africa. And this is by FI standards. So for us to get back WRC, it's purely on merit. If the rally was coming to Africa, there was no doubt it was going to come to Kenya. And we're looking forward to welcoming this event. The next 60 days will be very, very hard work because the rally is just 60 days away. And Eddie, I'll have a discussion with you on how to summon reserve energy. So thank you very much.
At this point, I would also like to welcome I know we've got a number of dignitaries from the Ministry of Sport. I'm a little bit spoiled for choice because these are all men and women who are passionate about this amazing partnership the national government has had with motorsports in Kenya. And it did not start 2-3 years ago. The planning, as you heard, Sean told us the story when he sat down with Phineas, about 2015, when Phineas was not very sure if this was going to happen. But it trudged on. And here we are seated waiting for another 61 days before that dream is fulfilled. So well done once again to you, Phineas. Now, I'll just do this randomly, and of course, I'll ask Honorable Kennedy to Zach to give us a word or two. And then later on, we'll have the questions. So if you have your questions, just get them ready. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I didn't intend to say anything, but I'm encouraged by my
We would like to hear from you. Very many young people here would like to hear from you.
Okay. I'm actually very excited because our CEO's son is part of this, and we are very excited to see the rebirth of his reserve energy transferred into his son as he runs tomorrow. My name is, as we said, Zach Kinuthia, Chief Administrative Secretary, helping in the ministry. And just to say a little, I would say the government of the Republic of Kenya has had moments of bringing young people together in many attempts. But one of the areas that brings them naturally and without much effort is sports. And for this one rally, the adrenaline, as we know, is reserved in the young people. We are more than happy, as I represent them in government, we are more than happy to witness the happening of tomorrow. So I'm inviting all the young people in Kenya from every corner of the Republic to watch in YouTube. It will be running live. To watch in Facebook, it will be live, although I don't know under what name.
We'll share the link.
Is it, the link will be shared?
Yes.
Where?
We'll also share the course of the conversation.
All right, okay.
They have the Africa Rally Championship page. Just look for that.
All right, Africa Rally Championship page. That is where Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube are running tomorrow. I'm inviting young people to enjoy the thrill behind the screen. I know had it not been for COVID, we would be in the field watching the dust and sweat of our I don't know whether they are called racists or racers. But I would say for those who will be racing tomorrow, we'll be more than excited. I want to take this chance to congratulate the Cabinet Secretary for having been behind the much encouragement, support, financial, moral, and all this representation of government towards bringing this championship to where it is today. We are looking forward for a greater World Rally Championship. Allow me to ask my colleague, the Chief Administrative Secretary, to speak and make his remark. Governor Honorable Kachapin. Maybe you can sanitize for him because I already used my saliva.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my colleague. I also didn't expect to say anything because as our leader is here, she will ably represent us. But I want to say that we are also very excited for this moment, and I think I'm happy with the preparations that have been done. And I want to thank the Cabinet Secretary for all this because she's our leader in the ministry. And equally, I want to thank the CEO and all the organizing committee for all these preparations we are seeing, and that now we are having this rally beginning today, and tomorrow the main event is going to take place. Equally, I want to say that this collaboration is good. You, the media, as a stakeholder, you have done us proud because you have made this event to be known here locally in Kenya and throughout the world. So I want to say thank you very much for what you are doing by setting this center and making sure that this event is well spread in the country. So I don't want to say much. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think also in terms of time, I think I will humbly ask Phineas to introduce our chief guest, just to make her. We have P.S. Kudo, who will take that role. Honorable Zach, maybe I think you used to work in the media. You understand these protocols for microphones. Asante sana.
Thank you. Just like my colleagues, today is really a very proud moment for us. When we're discussing the WRC, we never thought we'd reach where we are today. And in particular, when I walked into the media center, I just said, this is fantastic. I mean,
from nothing you build this up. And inside the room there with the cabinet secretary and my colleagues are talking about putting a permanent media center that could be used by our partners here at KWS, so that we have a plug and play, because we're going to be having many of these events in our strategy of sports tourism. The coming back of the rally is very nostalgic. I think each one of us here had a moment when we used to watch the rally, and it was one of the big events we looked for during Easter. And the fact that it left the continent and Kenya has brought it back, it's an indication of the country's resilience against adversity. And I also like the fact that, unfortunately, we have the COVID situation, but something like this rally would have brought the whole country together. And we at the ministry intend to use sports to do just that, to bring the country together and to keep us together as one nation, and to keep reminding us, even in our differences, we are one country and we have a responsibility to each other. When I joined CS Amina's team in the ministry last year, she took me on board completely. And there were some things that we agreed we have to achieve. And one of them was this WRC. So obviously, she put a working team together, put a local organizing committee, which I think we all need to applaud. They've done a fantastic job. And then gave a very seamless, informal working relationship. And it made it so much easier to solve. It's not been easy to get where we are. To get the finances, we needed the cabinet secretary to go and convince her colleagues to get an approval at cabinet. We needed CS Amina to go and have a conversation with His Excellency the President, who's obviously one of the funds of the sports, to allow for this allocation. And then COVID came, and we had to postpone the games. And of course, the country has a limited resource basket, so every money possible was going towards COVID. But through our intervention and the intervention of His Excellency the President, they ring-fenced to make sure life goes on. And one of the ways of life going on is this WRC that you see coming into play today. So for me, it's just really to thank His Excellency the President and to thank my immediate boss, the Cabinet Secretary, for giving me that opportunity to be able to, one, ring-fence the money, and to work with a very, very, very experienced team in a very, very informal manner. To such an extent that we are now even more than just working colleagues, we're almost family in the way we relate, and that means there's a lot of honesty in the way we dispense our duties, and there's a lot of putting everything on the table, and whenever there's a problem, it's ours. When there's a success, it's all ours. And for me, I think that has been one of the most beautiful things I've seen, and this is the result of that kind of beauty. So that was an emotional thing. I can see some people might be crying soon. It's fine. It's fine to do so. That was the intention. But allow me in a very special way to invite our Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Amina, whom we all know, to give her remarks. She knows the journey, she knows the struggles, and to share this excitement with us. Karibu Waziri. Sorry. I'm here with my colleague who's always supporting me, the PS from the State Department of Culture. She also has, she also has some ideas on how she wants to use these sporting events, international sporting events, for the youth in Kenya. So I think it would be important to hear from her just before I hand over the microphone to CS. Thank you.
Thank you, my colleague. I do not have much to say, but just to say what the others have said, I am very much excited for this event. As you know, the ministry stands for sports, culture, and heritage, stands for bringing people together. And this one has brought people together, but also culture also brings people together, especially those people who enjoy those positive values that we have developed over the time. And without much ado, as an event like this would also promote some cultural artifacts. Maybe when we are showing it to the world, we can also, as we show it to the world, we can also show what Kenya, cultural portraits that Kenya has, and we are going to work towards that so that we can also promote our culture and heritage sites. Thank you.
I said, his father, the chief administrative secretaries, the PSS, and especially PS, the Department of Sports, Dr. Omondi, and my very, very special thanks to the CEO of the Safari Rally, Bwana Kimanzi. Let me also recognize, ladies and gentlemen, the High Commissioner of Pakistan, who is here with us today. And I just want to say thank you very, very much for being here. I hope that our standards are as high as those that are in your country. They're higher? There you go. There you go. And let me just thank Elias, Makori, Mike, and all our colleagues and friends from the fourth estate. For me, this is a very emotional, but also very, I think, satisfying moment to have reached so far. Just means that all of us put a lot of effort into this. Before I go any further, I just want also to recognize the chairman of Sports Kenya who's here. Jim, let me recognize you as well, the dear friend. So it's a very emotional moment for I think for all of us. We've been working 24/7 to make sure that we put everything in place for the Safari Rally. And there was no better opportunity to test our systems, to just see whether the structures that were in place were adequate to run the Safari Rally than this current championship, the African Championship. And so we're here, obviously not just to test, but to also enjoy the thrill of all these rally drivers who have been also putting everything into ensuring that they prepare well for this. It's been a long journey for all of us, but I think more so for Phineas, who I think from 2015 began to do this. Look, I don't think that the Safari Rally can ever be removed from being part of the heritage of our country. It's always been the heritage of our country. And when we started discussing with Phineas as I came into the ministry, and he told me, this is what we're trying to do. And I said, well, it's wonderful that we can achieve one of the promises that His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta made to the country. And I think all of you recall that in the Jubilee Manifesto, one of the things that was promised was that, all the way back, during the first term, was that we would have the Safari Rally come back to our country. It's also very telling that in the 18 years that we were absent, no other African country could actually take it up, which basically means that it was waiting for us to come back to, I think, come to our senses because we lost it, to come back to our senses and go and claim back what was part of our heritage. So really this is a moment to just say thank you to everybody who participated, who sacrificed, who did everything that they needed to do to make sure that we bring the Safari Rally back home. And so we are all anxiously looking at the preparations that have been made for this current rally to just make sure that we now cross all the T's, we dot all the I's, so that nothing is left to chance. We want it to run really smoothly. And as PS has said, I mean, this is really an amazing achievement that we've also been able to put up a world-class media center where we can deliver not just for the country, not just for the region, but I think for the globe, because everybody is interested in seeing what is going to be achieved here in Naivasha. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, to watching all the excitement, to Sunday when it ends, and when we can all sit back and take stock and see whether there's anything that we need to improve. I know that Elias has told us areas where we need to do a bit of work, and we promise that we'll get that work done. But by Sunday, I think by Sunday night, we'll be able to see really whether the work that we've put in is adequate, or whether now we need to work a little bit harder for the next few weeks to make sure that the Safari Rally is where it should be. Yeah? But I have no doubt in my mind that the country has put its best foot forward, that it has dedicated the best of its experts to this effort, and that we will do very, very well. I'm also excited that there are so many Kenyan, very young drivers that are actually coming into this space. You saw Njiru and you saw Kimanthi, out there. You also saw the number of ladies that are joining the rally now, and so really excitement, moving into a new phase. Younger people coming in, which basically means that this is going to be sustained over the long period of time, that it's definitely not a dying sport here in our country, and that's something that will continue to attract young blood. And so the pipeline is broadening a little bit. We're seeing new names coming up. The three Rai, I think, brothers and cousins are also in this race, and who hopefully will also be present during the Safari Rally. So really, I think we've achieved a lot. The journey is not done yet. We are a little over, I think, halfway done. And so we'll just work extra hard to make sure that the Safari Rally is as successful as it can be. It's our first Safari Rally since 2002 when we were actually told to leave. And it has to be the best one ever. So that there's no doubt in anybody's mind that in fact Kenya is the rally country of the continent, it's the rally country of the South, and hopefully it will be the rally country of the entire globe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Waziri, for those very inspiring words. And with your permission, and of course, Ramadan Mubarak. We know we have to respect iftar, so we'll take only 2 questions with your permission. So, question, introduce yourself. We'll take those 2 already. So as they prepare, it's good to give a bit of information here and there. I think, Phineas, I saw you in a newspaper today. Was it the Daily Nation racing in the EQUATOR Rally? I'm sure Muliona, but that's a story for another day. And then as he prepares to answer another question, Peter Njenga, our media director, is the first Kenyan journalist to send an email story to a newspaper. Just when technology had evolved, he managed to successfully send an email from USA. And that was from the Atlanta Olympics in 1996. Use the mic. Is it on? How many drivers are we talking about in the camp of the boat itself, the distance of Jonathan Towers?
What's Phineas?
We have 33 drivers, and out of these 33, 21 are Kenyans, 8 Ugandans, 2 Rwandese, 1 from Zimbabwe, and 1 from Zambia, and 1 from the United Kingdom. Yeah, Slovenia, yeah. We have a navigator from Slovenia, navigating Rai from Uganda. The competitive distance is just over 200 kilometers, but the total distance of the rally is about 650.
So thank you, Mike. Before Mike asks the question, Your Excellency, High Commissioner, sport is a very good thing. I mean, there's no politics here. My biggest memory when I write my book will be in 1999. I was flying Emirates from Dubai to London. We were going for the Cricket World Cup. And I was seated with a great cricketer from Pakistan. His name is Imran Khan. First his regards, I'm sure you must have forgotten me. His Excellency, the Prime Minister. Mike?
My question goes to Waziri.
it's already a legacy. It's already a legacy that the team that is seated here has managed to, the whole team has managed to bring back the rally to the country. I think that's already a legacy. But what we'd like to see is there never being the threat of losing the safari rally again. You know? And for us to do that, we must make sure that, first of all, we put the necessary infrastructure in place. And we began with the service park, with the pavilion that's going up now. I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind, anybody who comes to this country and sees the service park and the pavilion and everything else that we're putting in place, including this media center, there's no doubt in anybody who sees all this that we are serious about keeping the safari rally here, that we intend for it to be something that actually stays and is sustainable, and as I said, that attracts young people, so that pipeline of rally drivers, of navigators, of officials, of mechanics, of all those that participate in a rally, that pipeline just continues to grow. And we hope that it's going to attract a lot more visitors into the country. Unfortunately for our first safari rally, obviously there's a pandemic, and so we expect visitors, but we don't expect as many as would have come if we didn't have any challenges. And so we're going to make use of whatever is available to us, what you are producing as media, the impressions that are going to be created, the viewership that we're going to attract, to make sure that our country is seen in the best possible light, not just the roots, but everything the country has to offer. First, it's people, it's amazing people. Yeah, and then everything else, it's beaches, and it's mountains, and it's animals, and our farmland, and all that this country is well known and well regarded and well respected for. And so the expectation is that this becomes, something that attracts young people to the rally, attracts tourists into our country, creates jobs for those that are interested in this sport, that puts in place the infrastructure that is necessary to sustain this sport over the long term, and obviously the need for us to continue investing in it, because it's only when you show that commitment that people see how serious you are. I've been talking to Phineas and Jim for a very, very long time, and the thing that comes across all the time is that, in fact, we're very, very unique, because we are one of two countries in the south that have rallies like this, right? It's Chile and Kenya. And as I said, 18 years absence, no other African country could take it up. I think because of just the image that we've created, because of the expertise that we have, because of these men and women. There's Surinda, who's always been part of the international circuit. And I think the memory of the rally and how it was hosted in this country and how it was run in this country. And so the expectation is that as part of our heritage, it will represent the best in us, and it will continue giving us what we hope it will give us, returns that are basically measurable, right? Just in terms of the beauty of the country and the attraction of people, but also making sure that our young people continue to be proud of the rally. You had Joe talk about, he talked about all of us actually spending our Easter holidays watching the rally. And so I hope that young people will always remember this rally in the manner that we remember it, and in the manner that it was run in the past. It's something that is always stuck in our memory, and that is entrenched in our memory, and that we are glad is back home.
Thank you, Waziri. Thank you very much for that, and thank you, dear colleagues. After this, we'll have a session where we do a bit of housekeeping to know what you can do tomorrow on the route and what you can do. So thanks a lot, Your Excellency, High Commissioner. KWS, thank you for your hospitality. I'm sure you've organized for a game drive for some of these people.